So the new year has started, and you're looking at your investments and your savings account, and you're trying to figure out what should I invest in, what things would bring in profit. And you come about cryptocurrency. You look at Bitcoin, you see the rise it's had from 2010 when it started and gone all the way as high as $126,000, and currently I think is trading or priced at roughly 90,000 right now. And you tell yourself, man, I missed that boat all the way out, all the way going up. So I'm not necessarily here to tell you whether you should invest in Bitcoin or not. One of the big things or big issues I have when people talk about cryptocurrency or Bitcoin in particular is how they are referring to it. Now, I have a different view on how to look at Bitcoin. I am not saying not to invest in it, and I'm not saying to invest in it. But I do hope that when people are investing into it, they are looking at it for what it is. Now, today I just want to talk about how you should look at Bitcoin and how you should approach it to invest in it if you're going to do that. So I guess I'll just start from the beginning. If you don't know, Bitcoin was created to try and be a currency. At first, they were trying to show that a third party, when transferring funds, such as like the bank, was not necessary, that you could do it peer to peer. So that's why they tried to make a currency where you could just, send the money as long as the system was working, the ledger, the whole history. I'm not trying to go that route to go into detail about how Bitcoin came about, but I will just touch on it a little bit. So at first it was a currency. They said it was going to be used as a currency, and maybe they didn't rationalize or process it, or they were just still testing. But 21 million Bitcoins are supposed to be the total amount that can be mined. They're not never going to add any more. 21 million is the total amount. Now, of course, we know that there are different breakdowns of Bitcoin. I think they go as low as, how many decimal places lower. But having only 21, it's not a viable source for a currency. So the mindset changed. It's changed from replacing the dollar to being a store of value. Perfectly fine. It can be a store of value and they're trying to relate it to gold. That is fine. But how I see Bitcoin is it cannot be necessarily comparable to gold, because gold had a different history to get to where it is right now. Of course, gold in the old times, way back when, was actually used as a currency. It became difficult to carry large sums of gold to pay for certain things. So it was then transitioned out, and cash and other things were used to transact. Now, gold can be a store of value, not just because people like gold or want to buy gold, but gold has other uses other than being a store of value. Of course, you can use it in electronics, machinery, something, or as a decoration or jewelry. Different uses. So let's put that aside. Now, of course, Bitcoin technically, I can't think of any other use, so if I am wrong, please say something in the comments. But Bitcoin technically can only be used as a currency, as something, either a currency or a store of value. Right now, I think it's in the middle of being changed from a currency to be looked at as a store of value, and hopefully people will bite on that. I don't know if they will. But so if you see it as a store of value and you're thinking, you know what, if I buy Bitcoin worth one Bitcoin is $90,000. That's a lot of money though. But if I buy one Bitcoin worth of $90,000, I am hoping that it would grow in value over time. Now, most financial analysts, they do something that a little bit irks me when explaining to people that might not be well-versed or knowledgeable about the history of Bitcoin. They do something by using graphs. I'm going to just put up one graph up now, but they use graphs to kind of show the flow and how Bitcoin most likely will move or will not move, and the like. Now, the problem I have with the graphs is that if you look at it and try to compare it or rationalize it and say, you know what, it looks exactly like all the financial graphs that you see on, let's say, the S&P, or graphs that you see from Apple, big Amazon, Tesla, whatever companies you are buying in the stock market, you might accidentally relate to it and say, you know what, it looks exactly like that. It might do the exact same thing. But there's a huge difference. The huge difference is there is actually financial data that supports the graph, even if it's not a one-to-one, but there is some kind of rationale or reasoning why Apple might have gone up in value for the graph, or Amazon might have gone up or down, or Netflix went up or down, whichever company that is being traded on the stock market. There is some rationale why the graph acts the way it does because of financial data that was given. For Bitcoin, though, the graph, if you look at it for what it is, does not have any kind of financial backing or data. The graph, probably, if you were to ask me, shows you the human emotion, how people feel about Bitcoin. Bitcoin's graph, or any cryptocurrencies for the like, their graphs are usually a feelings graph. It might sound weird, probably nobody has said that before, but it really is a feeling on how people feel about the coin. It's basically, for instance, let's say, for example, you were trading baseball cards. And honestly, I do believe Bitcoin is more relatable to baseball cards and collector's items than it is to a financial business or anything. But that's a different topic. That's a different conversation, I mean. But let's just say if you had like basketball cards or baseball cards. I don't know which ones are the most expensive, but let's say basketball cards, and you had a Michael Jordan basketball card. Depending on how people feel about the basketball card, or how much the next person is willing to pay for it, that's how much value you would probably get from that. Now, if they had a graph where the people that are interested in purchasing that basketball card were to show their interest, like, hey, I'm willing to buy it for 20 grand. Oh, no, I'm willing to buy it for 21. I'm willing to buy it for 22. I'm only willing to buy it for 18. Whatever it is, that's literally what you're seeing in Bitcoin's graph. There is no financial information. There is no backing. If people all decided one day, just said, you know what, we don't care about Bitcoin at all, the value will plummet to zero. Now, I know some people might come and try to be, anti anything somebody says on the internet, and say, oh, that could happen to, Apple or Amazon or Netflix or any of the companies in the stock market. Not necessarily, because they actually produce something that kind of converts or tries to be converted into money. Like the service Netflix provides, the graphs you're seeing is the financial conversion of what they're providing. So even if it went to zero, it's really not, because they're providing some kind of resource. Bitcoin, on the other hand, some people might say the resource it's providing is the ease of transaction. Yeah, is it? I'm not too sure about that. But not to get sidetracked, the main topic I wanted to say is, do not look at Bitcoin's graph as some kind of financial evidence that this is a good investment. Look at the graph as a likability graph. It's how much do people like it or how much they don't. It's a popularity contest, as I've said that before. Bitcoin has always been, any cryptocurrency that does not do any kind of business on the back end is technically a popularity contest. The value, the price is basically saying, how popular are you? How much are people willing to pay for you? Almost like Labubu dolls or the Gremlins or the Cabbage Patch. There's always some kind of fad. I am not saying Bitcoin is going to be a fad and die down in next year. It might never. Bitcoin might never die down, and it'll hold its value, almost like the Mona Lisa. I mean, the only thing the Mona Lisa has is it's a very old painting. I don't know. Can you use it as a currency? If the world was going to the Stone Ages, would you care about the Mona Lisa? Probably not. You would look at it as a painting. But because of where we are in the world and we're appreciating fine art, people have valued that as however much they value it, a couple 100 million. I don't know how much they value the Mona Lisa. But that's how I see it. But I'm just here to try to bring attention to people. When you see these graphs on Bitcoin, or on Ethereum, XRP, any of these cryptocurrencies, don't forget, these are not, there are no financial data per se, as in how much income did they make, how much money did they net. No, it's not a financial data. Don't get confused about it. It's just showing you the value of what people are willing to pay for it, not necessarily of the value that it has put in any kind of economy or anything. So remember, if you treat Bitcoin like a collector's item, like a baseball card, basketball card, whatever it is, I think you'll be closer to understanding how to trade it. If you noticed, last year it went to its high of $126,000 and it came crashing down to $86,000, I think, before the year end. I think that was the close to the low. And the reason people were giving is that the whales, as they call them, the people that have a whole lot of Bitcoins, sold a bunch. Why did they sell? Because they woke up one morning and said, I want to cash out. That's just it. Or they woke up one morning and said, I've held this long enough. Let's reduce the price of Bitcoin and I can buy back in later on. Nobody knows the reason. But the thing is, I do not want people to jump in thinking that they're definitely going to get some kind of high-end value if they buy now because they have FOMO or something. So remember, if you're putting money into any cryptocurrency, treat it like a collector's item, treat it like a baseball card, treat it like a basketball card, whatever kind of card or fine art kind of thing you want to do, but do not treat it as a standard financial investment. It's not. It's speculative. So be careful. This is more like a service announcement, but I still don't like how financial analysts that have done years and years of studying on investments and everything still try to relate cryptocurrency to the financial industry. It's not. It does not have the same backing that supports the information on the graph. But hey, what do I know? I could just be spitting something, just be saying nonsense just to get a video across. But if you do believe what I'm saying, leave a comment, click on the like button, and share this video. I don't want anybody to lose their money if they don't have to. But I hope you guys come back and listen to more videos. I'll be talking about different videos. I might actually make a video of XRP and Ripple, because that company kind of interests me. But I hope you guys have a great start. Hope you're having a great start to your new year. And I hope to talk to you or see you guys later. Have a great one.